Welcome to AmusementSparks. My name is Andrew Spahn. This is a hypothetical design show made by fans. So we don't own the rights to any of these properties. We don't have any intention of making these into real parks. It's just a really good way to use our imaginations together. My guest for this podcast is Nic Robes, who runs his own podcast all about Scooby Doo. It's called What's With You, Scooby Doo, and it's one of my favorite podcasts, actually. Check it out. My guest for this episode is Nic Robes. What do you do professionally, sir?
My day job is I work for a home furnishings company doing shipping and receiving.
Sweet. So
so I ship rugs.
Yeah. Do you get to drive around like a Wave or like a forklift, that kind of stuff?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we have a forklift.
Nice.
And occasionally I have to lift some heavy stuff.
There's a lot of important stuff in, receiving. And what was the other part of your job? Did you say shipping and receiving?
Yeah, shipping and receiving. So, sending rugs out, getting rugs in.
That's it. That's awesome.
Pretty crazy.
Cool, man.
It's a fast whirlwind life. And then I do stand-up comedy, and I'm a podcaster.
I've been listening to your podcast for a long time. It's really good.
Nice. Thank you so much. Thanks. Yeah, it's
You're welcome.
I mean, it's definitely wacky.
Yeah, I like any kind of podcast where they take a pop culture thing and that's the crux of it, that's the foundation, but then you can go so many different places through the lens of that one specific topic. It's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, the thing that got me interested in it from the beginning was that Scooby Doo is a weird cultural landmark because everybody knows it.
Right.
Not necessarily everybody is, a fan or obsessed with it or
True.
even, has an in-depth knowledge, but everybody kind of knows it, so you can always use it as a jumping off point to talk about whatever you want. So you can talk to a complete stranger.
Right.
But if you start with Scooby Doo, you never know where you can end up.
Yeah, that's one of the most powerful things about pop culture is that everyone has a certain story, a certain relationship with that piece. So it really brings people together at conventions and stuff. There's some dumb random toys from 1991 and people are like, "Oh my God, this toy was so important to me." It's it's a dumb thing. This company made thousands of products that year. They did not care about it at all when they released it. But so many people, it had an impact on them. That was my only Christmas present that year. That meant the world to me for, at least a full year. It's really cool to hear people's stories about dumb little stuff. People working on Scooby Doo didn't necessarily think this will be a cultural phenomenon. People will be talking about this show in 40 years. But, here we are.
I mean, the thing that's most interesting to me about Scooby Doo versus Star Wars is that it's not really a phenomenon. That's
right.
That's the interesting part is that it just permeates everything.
Yeah.
But it's not like Star Wars where people are peeing themselves,
Yeah, you're right.
It's just casually everywhere.
Where are you? We got some work to do now. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? We need some help from you now. Come on, Scooby-Doo, I see you. You got a silver. You're not human being, 'cause I can see the way you shake and shiver.
But yeah, I love that series. I hope it keeps going on. For me, I loved Scooby-Doo growing up because it was just, I don't know, it's normal kids. They don't have superpowers. I mean, Velma's a genius, but she doesn't really use that very often. It's any idiot stumbling through the situation could get 90% of the way there. The only real detective work is knowing who the guy is before you take the mask off. So I think I could do it. Maybe I pull the mask off first and then I know who he is. But Velma can, deduce it before you reveal. But, that's the only really smart part you have to do.
Also, there's no reason for Scooby-Doo to be a dog.
Yes. That's a good point.
In reality, he's just another person.
Great point.
He talks,
yeah.
He moves things, he eats, and there's nothing particularly dog-like. Occasionally he chases a cat.
Yeah, that's true. He does dress up like a human a lot, too. That would have been easier if he was a human. But I don't know, it's funny having a dog, and it makes it more... I don't know, if it was just 4 teenagers, then it's just it's just 4 high schoolers walking around doing stuff. But, they have a talking dog. Now it's a cartoon. Now you're talking.
Yeah, it's heightened.
Yeah, yeah. It's heightened. That's a really good word, a good phrase in general. But this is heightened. It's being plussed. That's a big Disney parks word is to you plus something by making it a little bit better. It's
Interesting.
It's a crime solving team, but plussed. there's a talking dog. Like, oh yeah, it has little to no impact on the overall enjoyability of it, but hey, we went above and beyond here. We got a talking dog in the mix.
Let's get into it. AmusementSparks.
Yeah, let's do it, dude.
Do you have, I mean, you worked in the toy industry, but do you have amusement park know-how?
Nothing. I have no connection to that
awesome.
world. I'm a fan. I've been really into mini golf and laser tag for pretty much my whole life. Not in a professional setting at all, but like that's something I always was brainstorming, and like that was one of the big events of my childhood. Like everyone has video games in common. Like everyone grew up in the same era as me, liking video games for the most part. But something that was kind of a unique thing that I really loved was the first time I played laser tag. It was like, it's like I'm in the video game. I get to use my physical body to interact with this world. And there's like some video gamey elements where, you know, you're like playing a competitive game and you get a score at the end. Like it keeps track of, you know, like your kill death ratio, that kind of stuff. And so that was just a really cool experience for me. And then also mini golf. I don't know exactly why I love it so much, but I think it's the fact that it's like a theme park, but on a really small budget and a really small scale. And a lot of people don't appreciate them, but it really is a thing that's very well designed usually. You know, you have to think about where you're going to lay out these 18 holes on this one property. So you've got, you know, this much space to work with. You're going to build some kind of fake mountain in the middle, and then you have to like wind people up and get them a way to walk back down. It's a weird thing that we do as people. Like, let's carry these sticks around, hit this ball around, and then walk up a fake little mountain. We'll interact with some fake animals. There'll be a waterfall and like some weird blue-green water, and then we'll walk back down the mountain and go home. It's like,
I kind of feel the same way about like macaroni grill, you know? Like, I don't know why this fake stone is going to make this penne rustica taste better, but for some odd reason, I'm into it.
Yeah, it's theming. It's all about the theming. And so that's kind of where I got into theme parks, is like laser tag is just running around playing cops and robbers, but there's theming to it. You're on the moon. You're in space. They're aliens. Yeah, I have no qualifications to do this podcast. I just really like podcasts, and I really like amusement parks.
I think that's the definition of podcasting, right? It's a bunch of unqualified people with passion.
It's just a conversation that has a certain theme to it, a certain like constant, whether it's, you know, Scooby Doo or amusement park design or whatever. It's just the foundation. It's just what you're there for, and then what actually happens is kind of a magical conversation. It's cool. It is a neat thing that evolves over time, and every episode's different, even though you have the same like inspiration for it, the same basics. Yeah, it's an interesting thing.
Yeah, it's like the new version of blogging, or like, you know, it's a completely subjective media form in the sense that it can be a much more honest expression because there are no corporate stakes at the end of the day.
That's true.
It's completely on you to express yourself.
Yeah, and I mean, sometimes there's advertising and stuff, but that very rarely has a real impact. Whereas like you work for a TV studio, you know, there's executives who can come in and like override your script, or like, hey, put a talking dog in it. You know, they can do like different things like that. Sometimes it makes the show better, but a lot of times it kind of limits the creator's creativity. But with podcasting, you know, there's no gatekeepers. It's pretty sweet.
It's the Wild West.
Yeah, and another thing that's really cool about podcasting is that because there are such low barriers to entry, and you can just record one episode one day and release it the next day. So like if you've got a community going online, they can say, oh, you know, this was not great in this episode. Try to improve that for the next one. You can improve it the very next day. It's really cool, quick turnaround. Versus a TV show where you film the whole series, the whole season, and then release it all at once. It's like, man, there's no reaction from the audience. It's kind of like being a comedian, but you can't hear anyone laugh. Like, that'd be really awkward, you know? Like, I don't know how this crowd likes this joke. Like, where should I go from here? You're just talking.
I mean, first couple years of stand-up, that's kind of what it's like anyways.
yeah. You mean that there's no laughter at all?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Oh, boy.
You get used to crickets for a little while.
Yeah. Whew. That's got to be pretty exhausting. You got to lead the show all on your own. All right, cool. So let's get into this. Let's design this theme park.
Let's get into it.
Let's do it. There's several different ideas here, and like we said earlier, there's been so many different incarnations of Scooby Doo. We can kind of pick and choose the parts that we like, or what are you thinking? What are your basic ideas so far?
Buckle up.
Okay.
I think, well, I mean, first of all, Scooby Doo is such a fascinating one to do because so much of it is kind of theme park based.
Yeah, you're right. They go to a lot of like haunted carnivals, or not really haunted, but I was thinking about that too. It'd be kind of interesting if we just take over an old, decrepit theme park and maybe a few of the rides still work. We're like, okay, we can work with this. It's Scooby Doo visits the haunted amusement park. And then you just keep everything decrepit, add some new animatronics and hire some guys to dress up like that crazy clown or whatever that guy's name is, and you're good to go.
Number one, I think the interesting thing would be to have different sections of the park for different ages.
Mm-hmm.
And then that way you can work through the different franchises into the age-appropriate group.
That's a cool idea. I like that a lot.
So, like, smaller kids, you get, like, Scooby and Shaggy get a Clue, which is from, like, the early 2000s, and Pup Named Scooby Doo.
Right, absolutely. And then there's also, like, Scooby Doo Mystery Incorporated, which is my favorite series.
Adult Land.
Yeah, 2010 to 2013, which not necessarily, like, adults only, but there are more adult references, like references to Twin Peaks and H.P. Lovecraft and all the stuff that was in that series. That sounds cool.
Yeah, I wonder how that would work out. I mean, that's a fascinating thing from a branding perspective. I mean, obviously you can do something that's owned by Warner Brothers, like the Blue Falcon.
Yeah.
Or Batman and Robin, you can do like the crossovers with that. But I wonder, with Mystery Incorporated, where you have these parodies of Twin Peaks and H.P. Lovecraft and those kinds of things, I wonder how that... I mean, H.P. Lovecraft is... public domain,
so
that's totally cool.
True.
But yeah, it would be interesting to see like the Red Room,
and how much of that it can be. You'd have to talk to the lawyers. We'd have to hire somebody to like, where's the line? Like, how much of a Twin Peaks reference can we do here? Twin Peaks reference can we do here?
And then how much of it is worth it from a branding perspective?
True.
Because I mean, like, if you're doing the Scooby Doo themed park, you can have Batman as part of it, or the Harlem Globetrotters, something like that. But to what extent, where's the line where you're just doing a Batman ride? And is that going to fit in with the branding of your park in general,
True. That's a good point. One way I was thinking of setting up the overall park is to have kind of a Crystal Cove analog, which is the town from Mysteries Incorporated, which I think that they're kind of adding that to the lore of previous series, like saying, okay, pretend this town that they live in has always been Crystal Cove. So it's got like the swamplands and like, because Scooby-Doo seems to take place in different parts of the country in like every episode.
Yeah, they drive across America basically.
So Crystal Cove, I think, tried to like mush a lot of those things into one town and be like, this is the most hauntedest place or whatever they say on the sign. But like, and it's all in one town. So I was thinking like the whole park could be set up to look like that town, where it's got like a road going along the coastline, and then there's like the town and all the different parts of town. And then each party of people that gets there, like they get a vehicle to drive around. Like, so they have their own mystery machine or similar vehicle that can break down at a certain point, where like, lights will flash and say like, your vehicle's breaking down, pull over at the next exit. You take that exit, and then there's like a creepy mansion right there. So maybe there's a few
this
different...
is like closer to like a Westworld.
Yeah, true. It could be kind of interesting. Because you know how in the old series originally, like their mystery machine would break down at least like every 5th episode or so. That's how they got to the place. Sometimes they get invited to an event or whatever, or they're just hanging out with some celebrity for some reason. But a lot of times it's because their vehicle breaks down. That's how they get to where they are. So maybe we've got like this track going around the outside of the park. You get to drive yourself there, and then at some point your vehicle will break down or something. You'll pull over at one of these exits, and then you get into your mystery from there. So then you could go back to the park a different day and just take a different exit, and you experience a different element of the park.
So there's a loose narrative to the park, and you can kind of choose which narrative structure you want.
Yeah, it's like
given on any day.
It's like picking picking an episode of Scooby Doo, which you let your guests on your show do. They get to pick the episode, but the same types of things are going to happen no matter which episode you pick. It's the same, short arc. There's just kind of an overall arc. If you go back, for the full season and go to like every single exit on that road, it's just a way of setting it up.
That's super cool.
We could do that.
I do
we
like
don't have
that.
to.